Hello everyone, Sheet the Geek here. It's been a really long time since the last video I did. I want to say it was sometime last year, probably even in the summer before we got announced so much new support for spellcasters. Generic spellcasters, not dark magicians or anything else. This was a build I was working on since last year. If and or Dragoon got banned, or if Alistair got hit some kind of way, he's not here. I was gonna change the deck to this variant. While Alistair is still very good, that variant of my spellcaster deck, which was Spellcasters or Spellcasters 2.0, it was rough because you're fighting for your normal summon between two different monsters, which in that build your normal summon was either Zorora or Endymion or the Alistair. And oftentimes it was like, okay, it's better to make the Alistair because you get the guaranteed one negate if they don't have Ash or Effect Veiler or Gamma, but if they do, then you're literally stuck. And so I didn't like how the build was fighting for the normal summon. You really didn't have that many options special summon. You can't special summon Alistair and get its effect, which really limits how you can play Alistair. There are other things I didn't like about the build. So this is the build I came up with, which is Spellcasters 3.0 now. This is the third variant of the deck. Obviously I had the Pendulum variant first with the normal Pendulums, then the Alistair build, which was 2.0, and now this is 3.0, which is now with the Exosisters, now that these are out. What this build tries to achieve over the previous build is that it's not fighting for the normal summon as much anymore. You can normal summon any of these and then hopefully go into an Exceed play or Anaconda because he's still around and did not get banned. I'm trying to figure out how to fit Avramax in here, which warrants this guy. This guy's still just kind of chilling in the extra deck. He doesn't really do a whole lot right now. So I gotta figure that out. Plus, all the receipts are actually pretty decent of the Exosisters, the 4 that they have right now. Apparently, there's a 5th one in OCG that I didn't even know about, but it's not out here yet. That's also okay. But this build, we play 3 Sophia, which is the one that lets you draw a card. 3 Ellis, which lets you special summon herself if you have any of these other ones on the field. And then 3 Stella, which has the effect that you activate her effect, which lets you special summon an Exosister from your hand. We don't play Irene. She's probably the weakest of the 4. Maybe at some point I'll try to fit in one Irene into the build because it validates the trap card a little bit with Sophia, but you don't need to play Irene. She's a rare. The other 3, these 2 are super rares. This one's an ultra rare. Irene's kind of the weakest. She's lets you draw 1, then discard. Sophia just lets you just draw, period. Still play the 3 Zorora, 3 Endymion. That has not changed. They are generic spellcaster support. They work with this deck very well. Still play 3 Crowley, Dark Magician, Red Eyes, the 1 non-spellcaster in the deck because he validates Dragoon. Trick Clown because he's still generically good, probably the best level 4 spellcaster. 3 Ecclesia and 3 Fordelis, who are obviously just there for extra support in the deck. He also helps with Link 2 plays. 3 Trismegistus. I might cut this down to 2 at some point in the future. We'll see. 3 Spell Power Mastery. They search Endymion. That's the only reason why you play these. 1 Foolish Burial. Helps with Trick Clown. Red Eyes Fusion, you have to upstart, obviously. 3 Dark Ruler Moors, which are very helpful against any deck that's better than this deck, which is a lot of them. And then the 1 Exosister Vadis. So as I briefly mentioned, this deck has a lot more special summon options than the previous build did, where you're not deciding if you want to normal summon Alistair or normal summon one of these 2, Zorora or Endymion. You also normal summon one of these guys, Sophia, Ellis, or Stella. Stella's obviously the best one, but they all kind of work. It only sucks when you only open up with Ellis and you don't have any of the other 2. Then it kind of sucks. You kind of bricked there. but it's not as horrible as it can be. There's a lot of room for improvement in the deck. This is just the basic rough draft. I actually played this today at locals. Got third place. I played it the week before when these cards first were legal. And the deck works fine. I like the build. And it's still staying true to the spellcaster theme for the most part, minus the dragon over here. And the deck can still win games. Dragoon is still a super strong card on his own. If I can fit Avramax in here, I think that would help out with the Sword Soul matchup a little bit, because I don't think they can out this very easily. They can still out this, but they have a harder time outing this if this is the only card on the field. Especially with IP Masquerena making it. They really can't out it, I don't believe. At least not that I've seen. They'd have to negate him with Chalice. Or Droplets, sorry, not Chalice, but Droplets, because Droplets doesn't target. So that's the only way to get around this guy, is they have to have Droplets. That's like their only out to him. But I have to figure out a way to fit in an IP Masquerena into the extra deck, plus himself, which is 2 cards. And the extra deck space is still super tight in this deck, because you still play the 3 Moon Maidens, your Anaconda, Shark, and the Frog, Abyss Dweller, a Zeus, a Baguska, the 4 new Exceeds, which validate the ladies, and then you're playing the Bujinki. He helps make him, because if you can make him, he automatically can bring a guy back from the graveyard and 1 from your hand if you have 1 more monster. They just all have to be level 4. That's the only catch with them, that they all have to be level 4, which obviously all except for this guy and these 2, all our guys are level 4 spellcasters. So Bujinki is kind of like a 2-card Avramax, because you can make this first, bring a guy back from your graveyard, bring out 1 from your hand, so that's your 3rd card. So it's a 3-card Avramax, and then you make IP Masquerena with those 2, and then you use him, and then oh wait, yeah, you can't, because he lets you have to exceed with him. Never mind, forget I said that. What was the other exceed you had to make with him? You have to make Dugaris, because Dugaris has the effect that you can bring a guy back from your graveyard. So when he brings 2 guys back, you have to make an exceed monster with him. My apologies. You make Dugaris, which Dugaris isn't in here, but you make Dugaris with his effect after he brings the 2 guys back. Then you use Dugaris' effect to bring a guy back from your graveyard, but you skip your next main phase 1, I believe, if you choose that option. And then using those 3 monsters, then you can make Avramax. You use him as the link to Dugaris and the monster that Dugaris brings back as your other 2 monsters, and then you can make Avramax. So unfortunately you can't make IP Masquerena directly, but you can also go into IP Masquerena with those 2 after that, then make him. Or you can go directly into him. So you'd have to play 3 more cards in the extra deck. And that gets kind of rough, because you have to fit in Dugaris, IP Masquerena, and then Avramax, which there's really no room. I tried multiple times to figure it out. It's like, I feel like Baguska is still super useful and is Abyss Dweller, even though one of these chicks is almost exactly like Abyss Dweller, but it's only for the turn. Abyss Dweller is 2 turns at least, and that's when you even need him on the turn you summon him. You usually don't. It's usually the 2 turns after that, and he just shuts out certain decks. Plus, you can make him 2200 because you play a water monster that can go into him. And he just shuts out decks, or certain decks just can't play if he's out, and you just get easy wins. But yeah, I felt the deck is very solid as it is right now. We don't have any more spellcaster archetypes that are on the horizon. Obviously, I just took the pendulums out of the deck. The pendulums, they work, but they're still super bricky at times. It'll be different if the one Endymion was at 3, the one that's limited to 1. If she was at 3, you could make this build a lot more functional. That's actually what my deck is on YuGiOh Master Duel, is I play 3 of her because she's at 3 in Master Duel. But when she's not at 3 and she can't be searched herself directly, it kind of sucks. You don't want to use this to search her because it's like, okay, you don't get the counter, so it kind of sucks. But if they announce a new level 4 spellcaster archetype deck, then this build could change. But right now, this is the build I'm working with. Obviously, these all work with Zorora because he can bring out any spellcaster, which this is why this guy is like $7 right now. Everybody sees the potential in him for Exosisters and other spellcaster decks, so people are buying this guy out right now. He might get up to $10 even. He's also a tuner, so you can synchro with him. This deck doesn't play any synchros, but he is a synchro. You can synchro with him. Not too much else to say with the deck. The Sword Soul matchup is really rough. You almost always have to go second and hope you draw Dark Ruin or more, because they out your board no matter what you make, it seems. Dragoon isn't enough to stop them. I doubt Avermax would be enough. Avermax might be slightly more annoying for them to stop, but it's hard for them to out. It's easy for them to out this deck no matter what type of board you make. Even with 2 negates, they can break it very easily. It's annoying on their end, but they can still break it very easily. I haven't played Drytron with this build just yet. Drytron is kind of dropping out of favor right now, so it's not a popular deck you really see anymore. Tri-Brigade is almost in your favor, but it's another situation where you kind of have to let them go first and you can go second, then you can make Dweller or one of these, and then your negates, and then try to keep the opponent suppressed after that. I think the other tier 1 deck matchups. Gosh, I'm blinking right now. I can't really think of too many more. Because everyone's really on Sword Soul right now. And Tri-Brigade you don't see a lot of anymore. Drytron you don't see a lot of anymore. Yeah, it's really just Sword Soul that I personally have seen. Which that's to be expected. I presume that's the best deck right now. From what I've seen or what I've heard and what I've played at locals. The side deck doesn't matter because it's based on what you play against. This is the side deck I run because this kind of stuff I usually play with. Although I've switched these out for token collectors just for the Sword Soul matchup, and the Dark Holes aren't as relevant anymore. I didn't feel like Dark Holes and evenly matches were necessary. It's either one or the other. Then I switched these out for token collectors. It's a little bit better than Sword Soul matchup because this deck struggles with Sword Soul a lot, which that came up today. I think I had Shark and Frog with token collector, but still out of the board, but they couldn't kill me that turn, but they were able to kill me the subsequent turn. So it still didn't work. It still wasn't enough. I needed a second token collector to not die. And even then it still wouldn't have completely stopped them, just would have slowed them down just a slightly bit more. That would have gave me an additional turn, I think, to try to come back. Plus token collector is a level 4, which works with everything else in this deck. You can exceed with it, because these are all generic. You don't need Exosisters to make them, you just need 2 level 4s, and they all have their effects. Which is really good. The second effect. The second effect only happens if they use an Exosister monster as a material, but you can still just generically go into them if you want. And because their name is also Exosister, if you can make one of these, then you can special summon either of these two, or with their effects if we have one of these out. So that's also convenient for them. Like I said, their effects are pretty good. But that's basically the entire deck. I just want to do a short video explaining how the Spellcaster deck has been panning out moving forward. Like I said, all my decks are a work in progress. If something better comes along or I come up with a new idea, I immediately change the deck, or at the very least I play test it, see if I like it, and then I switch the deck over to that build moving forward to keep playtesting it until something better comes along. I've literally been playing the skeleton or the shell of this deck for 2 years, going on 3 years now. I believe since the pandemic started, I've been playing this deck and only this deck, and it's still functioning and it still served me well for these 2 to 3 years that I've been playing it, and it's still going strong. And now even if Alistair or Dragoon gets hit, it doesn't affect the deck that much. This would simply be switched to Phoenix Enforcer, which I don't have one, which is why it's not in here. And obviously I'm not playing Alistair anymore, but I don't think he's going to get hit anyway, ever. So my deck is kind of future-proofed in that sense as well. But yeah, I appreciate you guys for staying subscribed, watching the videos. I do appreciate it. You know, I don't upload very much anymore. I do hope that once the pandemic is a little bit more under control, or some guidelines change, I will able to go back to recording my games at low like I used to do. I do kind of miss doing that. It also puts more content onto the channel, which is what I want to do. I have picked up playing other card games like Pokemon and Universes, so it may also be a potential in the future where I will record those games as well. Who knows? We'll see. But because of the guidelines, I really don't want to risk recording right now. In some places, it's not gonna allow me to do it. Table space is also an issue. I need to have table space to set up my camera set up, because it's a whole tripod thing that I need another space to have that set up, so that way I can record. So I don't have like a table corner tripod to record just yet. I should probably try to invest in buying one of those. But I haven't looked into how much those cost, but that would probably be an alternative option for me, so I can try to conserve table space, so I can find one of those and buy one. Now that those are a little bit more commonplace now. But yeah, I still appreciate all the support and the comments and the likes on the videos. Thank you. I don't do these very often, so when I do them, it's usually like once a year or once every couple of years. I'll do a deck update video on whatever deck I'm playing. So just to get more content onto the channel. But I hope you guys been well. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day or night. And until the next video, I will see you all next time. Thank you.